Live from downtown Detroit, home of WDIV and Click on Detroit, Local 4 News at noon starts now.
Risky business. 17 states now rolling out plans to start opening their economies, but the nation's top expert sounds an urgent alarm.
If we are unsuccessful or prematurely try to open up, it could be a rebound to get us right back in the same boat that we were in a few weeks ago.
This as Governor Whitmer seeks to extend the state of emergency here at home, with some contention brewing in Lansing. But we begin with Local 4 News at noon with a quick look at our forecast. We're going to get you updated on the coronavirus numbers and the very latest on the pandemic coming up in just a little bit. But we do want to take a live look at our radar over the area, and taking a look at the map there, you can see a lot of green in our area. If you woke up early with us this morning on Local 4 News today, you might have noticed that it was raining for a good portion of the morning. Meteorologist Brandon Roos standing by right now, probably with his shed umbrella, staying dry out there, hopefully, Brandon.
Yeah, we are getting some drips for sure. And as we go through the next few hours, some of these rounds of rain will get a little bit heavier. So certainly something we are watching with you, for you on this Wednesday. So there's 4 Live radar. A big wide shot shows the pivoting showers that are still coming through, but we get closer up through Macomb, Oakland County. That's some of the heaviest stuff, but back through our west zone, we're starting to see more activity there. We have lightning tracker on. Currently, not seeing any issues with that, but temperatures on the struggle here as we get through the day. We've been right in the middle upper 50s all morning long. And for the rest of the day, I think we're lucky to get into the low 60s. Again, through parts of the later afternoon, we are looking at soakers coming through the area, and those certainly will make travel tricky. It's a little breezy as well, so I don't know if anybody was planning on trying to get out on a boat today, but some isolated lightning and some gusty winds, probably not a great idea. We are in day 1 of 2 days of rain here, Evrod, and then a reward at the end. We'll explain coming up.
All righty, Brandon, thank you for the update there. Now we want to get you updated on the very latest on the coronavirus pandemic here in Michigan, as we give you a breakdown of our case count as of last night. As of Tuesday afternoon, there were 160 confirmed deaths from COVID-19 within a 24-hour period between Monday and Tuesday afternoon. And in total, we've lost more than 3,500 people to the virus. Michigan now has more than 39,000 confirmed cases. This is up more than 1,000 cases from Monday. New updates have been coming mid-afternoon, and we're going to bring you them the moment that we get them on air and online at clickondetroit.com. On the national front of things, though, coronavirus has now killed more Americans than the Vietnam War. In the not even 3 months since the first known deaths from COVID-19 in the United States, we've lost more than 58,500 lives on U.S. soil. These numbers come from a Johns Hopkins University database. But to compare, 58,220 Americans died over nearly 2 decades in Vietnam. In the meantime, top disease experts say a second wave is all but inevitable if we don't take the necessary precautions.
This virus is not going to disappear. That I can guarantee.
Dr. Fauci says the U.S., quote, could be in for a bad fall and a bad winter if countermeasures like testing and social distancing aren't implemented in time. And if a second wave coincides with flu season, things could get even worse. A little closer to home now, we have just learned that residential and commercial construction work will continue here in Michigan on May 7th. In the meantime, Governor Whitmer is asking the state legislature to extend her emergency declaration by almost a month. She says the state is making progress, but making too many changes too quickly could cause a setback. Right now, the state Senate is in session to decide what happens next. Rod Maloney now joins us live with more on that part of the story. Rod.
Yeah, it's quite rainy here, Evrod, in Lansing, but the legislature is actually here. The House is not in session. They gavelled in and then they went into an at-ease posture. The Senate was in, and they went at ease fairly quickly too, but they went back into session about 11:30. But let's take a look at where we are right now. The governor this morning, the governor's office confirming that point that you mentioned earlier about the construction reopening is now scheduled for the 7th of May. The governor's office giving us guidance on that. The question which the legislature would like to see is both indoor and outdoor construction, meaning like if you had a kitchen renovation or some sort of inside renovation. The governor's office isn't commenting on that, but it looks like right now that may not be part of this. In the meantime, the legislature is pushing hard, negotiating hard with the governor to get what we've been talking about for the past couple of days, which is to get non-emergency medical procedures back up and open. And also the legislature wants to see more and quicker in terms of the regional opening of the state. The governor, of course, separating the state into 8 different sections and then opening up in differing degrees in all of those sections. Now, the governor is scheduled to go and do her press conference again at 3 o'clock this afternoon, where we're told that she's going to give some more guidance on some of these issues. In the meantime, there is negotiations going on between the governor's office and the legislature, which is part of the reason why things are kind of quiet, at least on the floors right now, because they're still looking to see what kind of middle ground they can find so that the House and Senate can take up the extension of the stay-at-home, or make that the emergency, the state of emergency. And so we're waiting to see where that is. So as it stands right now, it's kind of a holding pattern here in Lansing, but we're on top of it, and we'll have whatever developments break coming up on Local 4 News at 4, 5, and 6. Reporting live in Lansing, Rod Maloney, Local 4.
All righty, Rod, thank you for the update there. And again, on the national front, streets in many major U.S. cities are empty, but some states are reopening, and there are now more than 1 million confirmed coronavirus cases in the United States. Just to compare, the global total, which includes numbers from the U.S., is at more than 3 million. This is according to a Johns Hopkins University database. In the meantime, as Miguel Almaguer reports, the debate over public health and economic survival continues.
At least 11 states, from Colorado to Minnesota, are now partially reopened, and 6 more states, including Florida, Texas, and Nevada, have stay-at-home orders expiring tomorrow. In California, home to 40 million people in the world's 5th largest economy, Governor Gavin Newsom announcing a 4-phase plan to slowly reopen the state.
We are weeks, not months away.
Businesses that could soon reopen include retail with curbside pickup, manufacturing, childcare facilities, and public spaces like parks. The governor also saying students could begin a new school year as early as July, but some businesses like sporting venues, churches, movie theaters, and hair salons may not open for months. In the Bay Area, where shelter-at-home orders have been extended past Memorial Day, this barber says he's planning to reopen later this week, defying orders.
I believe it's a constitutional right for us to pursue life, liberty, and, the pursuit of happiness.
While much of Southern California closed their beaches weeks ago, Newport Beach remains open, even after tens of thousands crowded the shores. In Atlanta, where restaurants reopened this week, some diners seen social distancing, while others opting to eat outside. In Miami, some South Beach parks, golf courses, and tennis courts are now open to residents. But this morning in New York City, the picture of outrage. The mayor blasting this crowd for gathering at a rabbi's funeral. Everybody go home. Saying he'll now instruct the NYPD to arrest those violating social distancing mandates. Miguel Almaguer, NBC News.
Thank you, Miguel. President Trump continues to insist the nation is on the road to recovery. But for that to happen, the U.S. needs at least 5 million COVID-19 tests per day by June. That's according to a new study by Harvard University. Dr. Fauci warned that reopening too early could spark additional outbreaks.
It could be a rebound to get us right back in the same boat that we were in a few weeks ago. So that's why we've really got to be careful and very circumspect as we go from a lockdown to a gradual rolling re-entry.
And while President Trump unveiled a new blueprint to boost testing this week, the numbers in his plan were not very high. But there is some good news in the battle against the coronavirus that's outweighed bad economic news to send the stock market higher today. Here's a live look for you at the Dow Jones Industrials average, which started the day with a 400-point rise and does continue to show strength. The good news driving the market is a report from a drug maker that's promising results for an antiviral drug in treating COVID-19 patients. That outweighs the bad news that includes a report of nearly a 5% drop in the gross domestic product in the first quarter and projections of an even worse second quarter. Boeing had bad news to report, saying that it's cutting 10% of its workforce due to slumping sales and first quarter losses. As always, clickondetroit.com is packed full of useful information for you to get you through this crisis. It's all there for you on clickondetroit.com/coronavirus. In other news this afternoon, the Russian prosecution concludes arguments in the espionage trial of Paul Whelan. He's the Novi resident who was arrested in Moscow in December of 2018. Prosecutors claim that a flash disk that was in his possession contained classified information. He faces up to 20 years in prison if convicted. The trial will continue on May 13th when the defense rebuts the prosecution's case. And turning to Decision 2020 now, Representative Justin Amash, the Republican turned independent from right here in Michigan, announced that he would explore running for president as a libertarian, injecting new volatility into a presidential campaign already unsettled by the coronavirus. He was just interviewed on MSNBC. Here's a look at what he had to say.
We're supposed to have a system where the people are represented, and there are millions and millions of people, I would say the plurality of Americans, who are not well represented by either of these two parties or either of these two candidates, and they deserve an opportunity to vote for someone that they want to win.
Amash has set up a campaign website, but says that he has not reached out to major financial contributors for support just yet. All right, still to come here on Local 4 News at noon. It is a global nightmare.
What keeps me up at night is the emergence of a brand new infection. And lo and behold, that's where we are right now. And the reason it's so unprecedented, it exploded upon us.
But there's a new hope. After the break, we're going to take you inside of a lab showing promising results as it works to create an effective vaccine.